Hi, Graham. Sorry it took me so long to get to doing your reading. I'm in the thick of it because so many people wanted readings for Christmas. So now I'm like, boom, 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 doing all the readings. So you're number 3. So I feel like I'm in the flow of it. So I pulled your cards already just because it's easier for me that way to be able to kind of get my thoughts together, kind of tell the story, and do a bit of reading before I bore you to death with me shuffling and reading on camera. So I'll show you your cards here first. And then I'll explain them. Okay, so the first cards that I pulled out were comfort and routine. So someone's been getting a little bit too comfortable in their routine, perhaps. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nice to have a routine, to have stability, and a bit of predictability in life can be comforting. But the magic happens outside of your comfort zone, as we all know. So I think there's something to be learned here about kind of taking you from this place of comfort and routine into something more in line with your destiny. So, so the next card that I pulled here, and I'll read this one because I find these ones have actually quite good descriptions, was for the goat. I'm a goat too because I'm a Capricorn. Goat, meaning untapped potential, fertility, virality, stubbornness. As the first domesticated animal in human history, the goat is an old familiar friend. The horns on the goat often represent fertility, virility, and life force. At the same time, the goat can be a very destructive creature if not managed properly. When the goat card appears in a reading, the primordial force from which both creation and destruction is asking for your attention. There is untapped potential within you that is begging to be harnessed now, and the only way you choose to engage with it or not is up to you. When goat energy is present, either there is often stubbornness at play, perhaps you are engaging in an old pattern or behavior that you know is self-destructive, but is ultimately familiar and there is more comfortable. This is your chance to switch up the story and transmute that stubbornness into determination. When channeled correctly, nothing can stand in the way of the goat. The goat's the one that climbs the mountain. Think about your relationship to power. To whom and what do you give your power away, and why? What would it look like for you to be embodied in your power? What could you accomplish? I thought that fit in nicely with the comfort and routine cards there. The other card I pulled was for the Alchemist. Whoa. Whoa. So the Alchemist is the ultimate kind of inventor, the one who can transmute one energy, a difficult energy or a stuck situation, into something more fluid or more productive or more creative, and harnessing magic, I guess, to kind of transform the more difficult negative emotional states and events into something that can be quite beautiful and joyful and for the better. And sometimes pain and difficulty can be the greatest inspiration of all. The Alchemist knows this. So like in this one here, said with the goat, is about transforming the stubbornness into determination. And so I think that's where the alchemy part comes in here. So I pulled some cards from my homemade deck. I made these when I was in the mental hospital. So they're like ransom notes. I thought that they would look expensive if they were like ransom notes. So this one here is No grown-ups, gobs of free time, kind of play, like inner child playing. You've got quick with the carrots, and not so quick. And we've got do it, the astronaut. So I don't know how much free time you have right now or what that's like for you, but to me this could represent your current situation, but I doubt it. I feel like you seem like someone who seems to keep pretty busy. For me, this is more about like letting the inner child play and finding the space to find those creative outlets and not work yourself too hard and just take some time to play and just take a load off a little bit and nurture your inner child. I think the do it part is kind of talking about something maybe you've been wanting to work on or move towards that you haven't necessarily had the courage or the energy to do so. And I think the encouragement here is to motherfucking do it. Like a Nike commercial, just do it. And it's not going to be a fast transition. Like these carrots, they take time to grow. You have to plant them. You gotta wait. You gotta water them. You gotta nurture them. And it doesn't happen overnight. But before you know it, within a season, you've got beautiful carrots, and it is worth it in the end to put that time in to kind of nurture this new life. And expect that it's going to take some time to build whatever it is that you're looking at kind of embarking on here. And yeah, understand that the time that you put into it is exactly equal to the enjoyment and the energy you will get out of it in the end too. Nothing easy takes time. Nothing easy. What's the expression? Nothing good happens overnight unless you win the lottery. Something like that. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, and then so for the tarot, what I got is there's some difficult energies here. So the 10 of Wands, which kind of indicates like a sense of burden. You're carrying a lot of responsibility. Kind of been walking down a road for a long time with a heavy sack of sticks on your back and kind of ready to be getting to the end of it. Sometimes kind of reaching a point of burnout, but with still some perseverance to push through to the end. The 5 of Wands, which is typically a card of like ambitious conflict between people, some competition, butting heads, people not seeing eye to eye or being in competition with one another for a title or some sort of prize or something. So together you could be dealing with some sort of ambitious conflict, and that doesn't necessarily have to be externally. You might not be battling for a job or something. Maybe you are, but it could also just be internally. Sometimes we can be our own worst critics and be the most combative towards ourselves and in what we expect ourselves to achieve, and be disappointed when we don't meet those expectations. I know I'm the worst for this. I have really high expectations for myself, and sometimes I can be the one beating myself up in this 5 of Wands energy because I'm not meeting the expectation or the ambition that I'd set out to achieve. And that can be very tiring. That can be very burdensome. Burdensome. I can't talk. On my 3rd reading now. Yeah, so just be careful of that. The final card here Six of Pentacles. Did I look this one up? I swear I looked it up, but I've already forgotten. Let me just look this one up again so I don't give you the wrong advice. Six of Pentacles. Oh, yes. This is a card of giving and receiving. So, to me, this is indicating that you are, in the near future, going to be on the receiving end of some gift or some transaction that is going to set things right, to make all your work that you've been doing worthwhile. It can mean being charitable, two-way abundance, giving and receiving, a positive and generous mindset, advancement, inflow, help coming from others. So while you may be dealing with some challenges now with kind of what you're carrying and what you're ambitiously fighting towards, there is an inflow of success coming your way very shortly, and it will be an equitable transaction, energetic transaction between what you've put in and then what you will receive out of it. So just hang on for that. It's not necessarily going to be quick, but it's on its way. Okay, and then I just had two more cards that I actually wanted to just read from the book, because I'm finding these ones are quite nice, the descriptions they have. So one is Healing is Happening. And 29. Healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. You're not broken. You're part of the ever-changing nature of life. Ever-changing, ever-changing, ever-changing. Change is the natural state. The rose knows that you are never meant to stay the same. You will be one single shape, or to be one single shape, size, or way. You're not normal, and that's normal. You're always becoming more and more of who you truly are. Healing is happening every moment of every day. You're returning to your true state every moment, every day. Call in your support team of people who can hold you in that, who can trust in the grace of your natural state. A true healer knows that they're not the one doing the healing. Rather, they're holding the vision of the return to wholeness, knowing that wholeness isn't a stagnant state. When you embrace all parts of life, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the bloom to the fall, the bud to the rose hip, you'll realize that healing is always happening and life is on your side. No one is immune to the polarity of this human experience. The only way through it is to embrace all parts of it, the light and the shadow. And as any healer or initiate knows, the only way to the light is to embrace the shadow within. The shadow, and sometimes the pain, is a portal to your liberation. You're not broken, you're healing. Healing is happening. Trust in the timing of life. And the other one is Come to Me. Come to Me. Attracting like a rose, receive and desire. Do, 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 do. 114. Have you ever noticed how in summer, when the roses are at their fullest and their scent is hanging in the air, bees and other pollinators suddenly appear? Pollination happens when pollen from one plant mixes with pollen from another, or is transferred from the stigma of a flower to the stigma of another. Roses don't go running all over the place reaching and grabbing each other. They rely on the bees to come to them. The rose is never reaching for the bee. It's never grasping or overreaching. It embraces what it is fully and allows life to come to it. It receives it fully. It doesn't open and close according to who walks by. It opens and blooms regardless. This card is about receiving abundance, rose style. It's an invitation to receive the sweetness of your life, to embrace the magnificence of who you are, and to also open yourself up to the possibility of receiving what you yearn for deeply, to be clear on what you desire, to trust that all that's meant for you wants to come to you, to state your desires out loud and let your yearnings be known, to ask for what you desire. Don't reach or grasp, don't strive, control, or manipulate. That will leave you exhausted, parched, and brittle. This card delivers the message that true sustainable abundance is coming. Connect with your essential true nature. Be unashamed of what you desire, and when it comes, relish every minute. What do you desire? What are you ready to open yourself up to receive? How can you attract like a flower? Aww. I think that ties in nicely with this card here with the giving and receiving. I think you do have some beautiful blessing coming. It's just a matter of opening up to receive it and trusting that it'll come because you deserve it. Okay, that's all I have for you. I hope that helps, and I hope you have a great night.